Hello, Maverick traders, and welcome out to your daily currency recap. This is Anki today, and I'll be breaking down today's market price action. It's a Wednesday, May the 14th. Let's get into it. As always, we'll be taking a look at broader market analysis, take a look at what the currency baskets are doing, take a look at the news, and then we'll take a look at some possible setups ahead. Let's get into it.
Do you want to be a professional trader? Maverick Currencies is the oldest US-based Forex and crypto prop trading company that will pay you for trading with our capital. Trade our capital and keep 70 to 80% of the profits. We are looking for traders just like you that are hardworking and motivated. Click the apply link on the top right of this video to see if you have what it takes. That link takes you to a 4-minute video that explains the trader position available, and you read a list of FAQs that answer pretty much all the basic questions you have at this point. After watching the video and reading the FAQs, if you're interested, fill out an application, then you'll watch the full-length recruiting video, and then schedule an interview with one of our traders. Are you our next trader?
So jumping at the market analysis, let's just jump right into the headlines and the numbers. Well, as far as the headline goes, we actually have a sideways price action in the broader markets. Now, that being said, we are seeing currencies kind of following their own relative strength and weakness. We are seeing the dollar actually acting a lot better. A dollar did recover yesterday's loss, and I've talked about it how dollar is sort of in the process of reversing at these levels. So we are seeing a nice price action. We'll talk more about it later, but that's really where the big movement was. Now, if you take a look at this currency percentage change today, so you can see that yen continues to be, performing better here. But remember, this thing is a strong trending down currency. We're getting a bit of a bear rally here. On the other hand, dollar 0.32%, decent gains there. And then here we are outside of that. You can see some of the other currencies kind of went sideways, and really Aussie and Kiwi underperformed. So remember, we're going to pay attention to relative strength and weakness. We are seeing relative little weakness in the Kiwi and the Aussie. And we're seeing relative strength in the dollar and even in the yen. So we'll take a look at those pairings. Now, taking a look at broader markets, you can see S&P was flat. World markets were flat. So really no big risk on or risk off theme today. Cryptos were down, pulling back here. Gold actually down quite nicely here, and oil markets were down. Now, in the crypto markets, you can see really the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Cash. Pretty much everything else was down here, but leading the gains in Ethereum and Litecoin. So overall, if you take a look at the markets, has anything changed? Well, nothing really has changed in the markets. We are in a recovery. So we're seeing, higher highs and higher lows. You can see this week we started off gapped higher and continuing with that upswing. So getting a little pullback here, but again, following that theme here, we are not really seeing any negative price action. Either we're seeing some hold or we're seeing some recovery. So that's really where we are in the broader markets. Now, when we take a look at currency, the schedule, you can see that we already had the CPI that came out yesterday. That was lower than expected. But did bring the dollar lower yesterday, but then here we are, dollar back up again today. Now, we have the Aussie employment report tonight. And again, if this comes out anything like expectation, probably won't be a big mover. Remember, for a big mover, we need a number that would be way above or below expectation. Based on the price action right now, the Aussie is sort of pulling back a little bit. If this number comes out any worse, I would expect the Aussie to even continue sliding further. We'll take a look at some setups on the Aussie. Now, going to tomorrow, most importantly, we have the US retail sales. Again, we have the PPI and the retail sales. So I'm not really seeing a huge move off of this CPI or even the PPI. I think the bigger number or bigger reaction could be off the retail sales, because again, that's reflecting on how people feel about the economy and how they're spending in the markets. So that's really going to be the one tomorrow we'll be paying close attention to. The unemployment claims, they're looking for no real change there. And we have the Fed Chair Powell speaking tomorrow as well. So primarily, we'll be taking a look at some dollar crosses and then some Aussie overnight. So as far as the velocity score goes, here we are. But let's just jump right into the trading view. So as we jump into trading view, let me just take a look at some of the currency baskets I want to highlight. Because what happened is that if you go on a daily chart right now, you'll notice that some things are just going sideways. Good example is Kiwi. Here's their level of resistance. Remember, I pay strong close attention to these resistance and support levels because that's really prices stalled. So you can see that this thing is just stalling there. Each time it looks like it wants to break out, it just falls back. So this is again a sideways price action until or unless it goes one way or the other. I'm kind of like on hold on the Kiwi, but at this point, definitely selling on rallies against that resistance. Not really looking to play the breakout. Here we are with the Aussies. You can see Aussie's done better, but same thing. Aussie is also running into overhead resistance. This thing is a lot more stronger than the Kiwi. So I would say Kiwi looks like a better short, just comparatively. But if we take a look at Aussie employment report tonight, we'll see if this can continue pulling back a little bit further. Now, if we go with the CAD, you can see that CAD is kind of sideways as well. We go into the pound. Pound's the one that is moving decent, but look at that. We are up right against that resistance. Then we go into the euro. You can see that this is kind of moving lower on a very slower pace. So this is like mildly bearish. Here we got the Swiss franc. This looks like a better short to me right now. I mean, after that big consolidation period, it's coming down, but it's coming down on a very slower pace. But you can see that the direction is sort of moving down. RSI is heading lower. You got the, all the matrix are pointing out to the downside. Here with the dollar, and this is why I like dollar here, is just the fact that, it's not a strong trend score, but we're seeing a formation of a reversal because we had a big reversal over here to the downside. We went sideways, and look at that. We did break out, had a bit of a bearish engulfing candle, but then we kind of held in that support, which is, prior resistance, now support. So at this point, I think it has a decent chance to maybe recover a little bit higher off of that. So a dollar I do like as more on the upside than I do on the downside. And then if you take a look at the yen, I know you should take a look at the yen, getting a nice little update today, but realize that overall it's in a downtrend. So this is just like a bear rally. So let's just go into some of the currency setups that we like it over here. So let's start with Kiwi dollar. So what do we see in the Kiwi dollar? Is there a setup here? This is the daily chart. You can see that resistance is right here about 60. Now, if I go on a 4-hour chart, you can see that this thing is kind of all over the place, but you can see where you're getting decent percentage moves, decent risk to reward on these trades. At this point, it's sitting at about 59. I think you can easily get down towards that 50 or 60 if the dollar does strengthen. We can literally just kind of see this come back down. And then here we are with another one that I like is dollar CAD. Same thing. We got a nice little run. We got a pullback. And we got a resistance right here. So this is where I would rather just wait till it really clears this 140 area. Because if it does, then that would be a confirmed sort of a breakout. We are pretty close to that area, so I don't really love the risk to reward. I would rather wait to see a confirmed breakout on that. So Kiwi dollar, dollar CAD. Let's see if there's a trade on Aussie dollar. You can see the Aussie dollar, same thing. This thing also going sideways for the longest time here. And if this falls back below further, I think this can sort of start a little bit of a downward shift here. But remember, not ready yet. Well, maybe you'll see if there's any news catalyst from the Aussie employment report. Let's go into see a couple other ones that I like here. Dollar Swiss franc. You can see that this thing, this is another one I'm watching because, again, sideways for the most part. It really retested that level and trying to go back up again. So decent risk to reward. Stop right underneath here and see if it breaks out above the 85 area. Then we have the dollar yen. Again, not really ready to pull the trigger on this one yet, but I think it's a similar setup. Again, if this is just a short-lived pullback or bear rally in the yen, then we'll probably see a recovery there. So this is, again, support level. We retested the level, see if it kind of rise from there. So I think we can see a bit of a turning point in the dollar for the short term. Another reason why I like the dollar here as well is just when you take a look at bond markets too. I mean, here we are with the bond markets. It's actually rising. Here we are. Look at that. Bond markets at the highest level pretty much since the April. So there's a bit of a shift on the upper end for the bond yields as well. So I think that should support the dollar. But even if you just take a look at the dollar as a currency basket, because again, if we want to take a look at and see if the dollar is actually moving. So a dollar could be in a process of sort of turning here. So that's the one thing we'll be paying close attention to. So again, that's pretty much the game plan here. I think dollar could strengthen further. For Swiss franc, we could see a bit more further weakness. I'm also paying close attention to the Aussie and even the Kiwi. All the dollar pairs, I think you can find a decent risk to reward. It's just a matter of finding it when it's really moving. And if this is just a pullback, and if we see a continuation, I think all those setups looks decent here. But that's the game plan. Thanks for joining. See you the next one. Happy trading.